Hi, my name's Barry Anderson, and I'm the producer, songwriter, guitar player, and singer for the metal band Barren Ruins. And this is video number 16 on how to earn national and international ranking and win international awards. Now, it's been a while since I've done a video, but we keep getting these reoccurring questions based on music theory. And I've had some discussions on some band pages and some band sites and musician sites on music theory. And people, for whatever reason, are interested in my approach and how important I think music theory is into writing successful songs. I'll be the first to tell you that music theory is a very important part of writing music. I had music theory in school, and I went to a songwriting university called Song U out of Nashville. And so, yeah, I've had more than my share of music theory. How much do I use music theory in my writing? Well, I'm a natural, so I don't really use theory as much as other songwriters. But yeah, I do use music theory some. I use the circle of fifths if I want to come out of a bridge that's in a totally different key and come back into the original verse. We'll go into that. I'll show you that when I'm playing guitar here shortly. But a lot of guitar teachers and people who are marketing themselves and trying to get people to market themselves on their pages and pay for their time, they're really promoting music theory because that is something they can teach you. They can't teach you talent. You're born with that. So they're marketing themselves on theory because they can teach anybody theory, just like you can teach anyone how to read notes. That doesn't mean that you're going to have talent. The best description I've ever heard was at a music clinic, a songwriter's clinic. I don't remember the name of the songwriter, but he described music theory like this. You can teach someone to learn music theory just like a basketball coach can teach you all the drills and all the techniques on basketball. But he can't teach you to be 7 feet tall. He can't teach you to have a vertical jump of 40 inches. He can't teach you how to shoot or dribble a basketball if you don't have talent. You can have all the desire and all the love of basketball in the world. He can coach you if you're 7 foot tall. He can coach you if you have the potential of a vertical jump of 40 inches, or you can shoot the basketball or dribble it if you have that kind of talent. But that's something you were born with. Music is no different. You either have talent or you don't. Now, there's a lot of people with talent. My niece Abby is a person who has a tremendous amount of talent. You've seen her play bass guitar on some of our videos. The girl never practices. Never has. She just plays. If she actually practiced and I worked with her for a year, she could play as well as anybody. And she's only 15 years old. That is talent. That's something you can't teach someone, you can coach them with. So, music theory is a very important part of music. It can take a good musician and make them really, really good or even great. But it's not going to make you have talent. That's something you were born with. Now, I'm going to go into my approach on music theory and how I use it. We're going to go into simple scales and modes, the circle of fifths. Then I'm going to show you a song that I wrote using theory. Depending on whether I get it in this video or the next, I'm going to show you how I really write. Because I just start to play. I don't think about theory until I'm arranging the song. Then I think about theory. Until then, I just play. And most really good songwriters tend to be doing the same thing. It's natural. It's just talent. Can't explain where it comes from. Can't tell you how we do it. It just happens. Now we're going to go into my approach on how I use music theory in my writing. I simplify everything, and I'm going to make this as simple as possible, because if it isn't simple, all you're going to do is spend all your time thinking about the theory of it and not actually using it. So if it isn't simple, think about what you're doing and change it to make it simple, to make it connect with you. We're going to identify all the notes within the G major scale, because that's, you have to start somewhere, and we're going to start on the G major scale and all the modes within the major scales. And we're going to use G major because it's a simple scale to play, and I think most of you guys know that scale. And then we're going to identify the numbers of the notes on the scale and the name of the modes. You have to connect that. If you don't connect that, you're going to simply sit in a mind fog or a brain fog and not really be able to use the theory. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they don't make a connection to the number of the notes and the name of the modes. Now the modes are in Indo-European. The language is basically Greek. It's not English. So you have to make a mental note between the name of the modes and the number of the note that you're on. So we're going to try to make that connection and make it as simple as possible. So we're going to start on a G major scale, and that starts with a G. So that's a G major scale. So let's identify the notes that are in that scale. Understand that all major scales have a half step between the third and the fourth, and the seventh and the eighth. All the other notes are full steps. So the first note is a G. The second note is an A. The third note is a B. Now it's a half step between the third and the fourth, which is a C. The fifth note is a D. The sixth note is an E. The seventh note is a F sharp, and of course we have a half step to the octave G. Pretty simple. Now all of the modes will be playing those notes. We just start at a different place. So if we start with the G major scale, that's the number one note, the number one scale within the G major modes. That's called an Ionian, or the tonic, or the root. It's the Ionian. Number one is Ionian. Now the second mode is the second note, which is an A. That's a Dorian. So the second mode is a Dorian. That's a relative minor scale, but it plays all the same notes as the G major, but it's the Dorian mode. That's the second mode. The third mode is the Phrygian. That starts on the B. It goes from B to B, going from octave to from root to octave. Now we're playing the same notes as we played with the G major scale. We're just starting at a different place, and it changes what kind of scale and what chord goes against that scale. Now the fourth mode is the Lydian. Now it's a half step up from the B, the third, to the fourth. So that starts on a C. That's the Lydian. The fourth mode is the Lydian. The fifth mode is a Mixolydian. That starts on the D. That's a full step up. That's the Mixolydian. The fifth is the Mixolydian. Now the sixth is a full step up, and that is on the E. That's the Ionian, which is a straight minor chord and a straight minor scale. And the seventh is a full step up, and that is the F sharp, and that's the Lycian. understand that all of the modes use the same notes as the G major scale. So just, we're going to start in the E minor. We just played the E minor on the lower register. And that's how they follow. They just move up notes. So that if you're going to say you're playing in a solo in a G major, you go down to an E minor. That's all of the melodies within that scale system of the G major or any other chord progression that you're playing in will follow that mode structure. So if you're playing within the mode structure and you're playing a lead break, you're playing within that structure, and you can play basically similar melodies or exactly the same melody and still make that work within that mode structure. It's only when you change to, say, like an E major that you would have to change the melody lines. That's as simple as it is. That's as simple as it gets. But understand that all the notes within the modes are in the G major scale. The only minor scale that's not in that mode system is the harmonic minor. And a lot of us metal guys use the harmonic minor and the Phrygian and the Lydian a lot. Especially within, you know, and I will do some of that when I'm just playing, because I don't even think about what I'm doing when I'm playing. That is as simple as it gets right there, guys. So next, we're going to go in to the circle of the fifths.